Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What a win. What a win. Up to 18th in the table, and we are now just 6 points outside the playoffs. Excellent, excellent result tonight. Away at St Andrews. We travelled en masse. I said in my... Well, that's a quote from my match report for To Hull and Back, which you can have a read on it on their socials. But yeah, we ended the year absolutely on a high. I think the figure was 1,412 fans that went. I think there was about 17 or 18 coaches on Tiger Travel, which is nuts. And in what was a very, very even sort of end-to-end back and forth game, it was a tap-in from Oscar Estupinian that gave us victory. And when I say tap-in, I don't mean he finished it from like half a yard out and it went in off his knee. It was still really well worked, and we'll touch on it a little bit more, but went from defence to attack just like that. It was a really, really nice move. Finished off, because he had men around him, did Oscar, but he managed to just flick it in between the bodies and past John Ruddy, just shy of the 80th minute mark. What a result. What a result. Team news-wise then for Liam Rossini, there were 2 changes. Syed Manesh came in, which was nice to see. Doherty came in as well. Tufan and Woods dropped to the bench. Louis Coyle missed out with a foot injury. Rossini mentioned that in his presser yesterday, that he had a little knock left over from the Boxing Day game. And Cynic dropped out of the 18-2. Xavier Simons and Callum Elder replaced those 2 on the bench. So it was the usual 4-3-3 with Ingram in goal, and Christie, Jones, McLaughlin and Jacob Greaves at the back. Rossini did address, by the way, what's going on with Brandon Fleming in his presser. Just listening to the stuff that Radio Humberside have released, they get a bit of exclusive time with Rossini after the fact, bit of one-on-one time. And Mike White asked Rossini about it, and he said Brandon's really unfortunate. He's training really well, but he's a victim of the fact that when he came in, we were terrible at defending set pieces. So he wanted to combat that with extra height, knowing that Greavesy could play there, and he's just stuck with it until he can fully get the problem sorted out. But then the central midfield 3 was Doherty, Seri, who was absolutely incredible again. He is levels above anyone else in this team. He's brilliant. And Slater, with Longman on the right, Syed Manesh on the left, and Estupinian through the middle of the bench. Lottatala, Elder, Figueiredo, Tufan, Woods, Tyler Smith and Xavier Simons. And then for Birmingham, it was like a 3-1-4-2 sort of formation with Ruddy in goal. Back 3 of Roberts, Trusty and Sanderson. In defensive midfield was Christian Bielik. On the right was Curlin. On the left was Longello. In central midfield there was Hannibal Maysbury and Janino Bakuna, with Deeney and Chong up front. Their bench was Neil Etheridge, Lucas Jutkiewicz, Jordan Graham, Jonathan Lecco, Jordan James, Joe Bellingham and Alfie Chang. So in terms of what happened in the game, the first 15 minutes were a bit of a non-event for me, really, because Sky can't run a red button feed very well. I'm changing arms because this one's aching after 4 minutes of holding my phone up. But from what I gathered, Bakuna had an effort that went over the bar. Doherty had an effort deflected behind, and Slater had a shot from just outside the box that ended up just wide of the post. The first real thing I saw was Ingram forced into a really good save after Deeney drove a firm volley toward him just inside the area. He sort of parried the ball, made the save, his hands close into his body, parried the ball back into the area, and then we sort of scrambled it clear, really. And then we went, so Birmingham throw in from that, But then we won it back, went straight up the other end with a great passing move from back to front. I wrote here for my match report, which because I've just got this in front of me, keeping a track of what went on. I wrote, suck on that, quote, Gerrit forwards, unquote, numpties at the MKM. Honestly, I think we played better away because we haven't got people just absolutely brainlessly booing us and shouting, Gerrit forward. It winds me up so much. If you haven't seen my live previews, do tune in, because I go on at least a 40-minute rant about it every single week. I hate it so much. 5 minutes after that, Greavesy down the left-hand side was fouled by Hannibal Maysbury. And from the free kick, Semi delivered a really nice ball in to McLaughlin, who lost his marker, unleashed a powerful header towards goal, and Ruddy made a really nice save and Birmingham cleared the loose ball. Then Bakuna, this was funny. A ball was put in by, I'm not sure who it was, but it was diagonal ball regardless. This is just on the corner of our penalty area on our right-hand side. So a diagonal ball was put toward Bakuna, who battled for the ball in the air with Doherty, and then it sort of came down. And as it was coming down, Bakuna did a really elaborate fall and dive. And initially, when the ref blew his whistle, I thought he'd given a penalty, but he hadn't, and he went and booked Bakuna for diving and simulation. Not bad. Good on you, referee. Stephen Martin was having none of it. And then just after that, Longman's low cross from the right was hooked behind for a corner by Sanderson before Estupinian could reach it. The first corner was cleared behind for a second, and then the second one was cleared back out to Seri, who took it, who led the ball off from the far touchline to Doherty on the edge, and he had a really powerful effort with his left foot that was deflected behind for another corner by just a huge gaggle, a huge group of blue shirts, and the resulting corner led to nothing. Sayadmanesh was booked for a late challenge on Maysbury. Ingram made a good save, and that sort of finished the first half off, apart from a Greavesy header where I think he thought he was like on the byline and wanted to pull it back across goal to Oscar, but he was actually on the edge of the 6-yard box, and the header was awful. That was a missed chance. Then at half-time, I thought we were playing really, really well and had the better of the game. I wrote that Maysbury showed the same dynamism he showed at the MKM, but we were able to limit his effectiveness, and Chong has had very little to work with. We looked dangerous going forward, but Birmingham's defence were just able to prevent us getting a real sort of clear-cut chance away. And Alayar was working his socks off, but it's clearly rusty. And then the second half, the first sort of 10 minutes were all us. Estupinian had a header blocked by Longello before Alfie Jones blazed over. Greavesy delivered a low cross into the area, which was deflected behind before Estupinian could reach it. Longman beat Longello with a nice little body feint and drop of the shoulder. His cross towards Sayadmanesh at the back post was put behind again. Longman cut in from his left foot, from the right onto his left foot, and had an effort blocked away. Ingram then made a good save from Jordan Graham, and it was about 60th minute mark. Birmingham made 2 changes. Sanderson came off due to injury, and Longello came off as well. Graham and Jutkiewicz came on. They started to grow back into the game a little bit more, and well, we thought, right, fight fire with fire. We'll bring Tyler Smith on for Sayadmanesh, who, we've got to manage him to make sure the injury doesn't come back. And Tyler Smith, he got the little Oki assist for the goal. He laid it off to Christie, who then pulled it back to Estupinian. But before that, we had an effort ruled out for offside. Longman charged down the left and whipped a ball into the middle. Estupinian brought it down, but then he had two Birmingham players behind him, so he couldn't get a shot off with his back to goal. So he laid it off to Doherty. Doherty let it sort of run a little bit wider. If you think he's just sort of far side of the D, he let it run a little bit wider so he could get a nice little whip ball, sort of like back toward the middle. And Longman, brilliant diving header, and it went in, but it was offside, and Rosenior was protesting about that for a good 3 or 4 minutes afterwards, and the referee didn't take too kindly to it, so Liam Rosenior ended up in the book. But 10 minutes later, our goal, it was really, really well worked. We broke from defence to attack in a flash. Longman down the left, found Seri in the middle, who took the ball over halfway and spread the play out wide towards the right-hand side. Tyler Smith got the ball under control, found Christie on the overlap. He pulled it back to Estupinian, who put it in from close range. And then for the remaining sort of 13 minutes plus stoppage time, we were just defending. Figueiredo came on, Elder came on, just to shore it up at the back. Seri made a couple of fantastic blocks. He was absolutely brilliant in this game. I think I've said that already, but he was brilliant. But yeah, we just absorbed all the pressure. And then at the end, Birmingham had a corner conceded by Figueiredo, despite protests from Greaves, McLaughlin, Jones, basically anyone in a black and amber shirt. But we cleared it initially, then the Birmingham sort of regrouped it, went out to the far side for Jonathan Lecco, who put a ball in, and John Ruddy actually had come up for the corner, headed it wide, and that was the very last action of the game. So what a way to end the new year, and hopefully we can carry the same form into Wigan, where there's going to be about over 1,500 City fans there on Bank Holiday Monday. That's going to be good. That's going to be really, really good. I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, encouraging signs. Clean sheet, win. Oscar on the score sheet again. Ali looking lively. Just can't wait to have him at full fitness. He's going to be incredible when he reaches that level. Again, but yeah, not too bad. So thank you for watching. I'll see you for the preview on New Year's Day for the Wigan game. And for now, take care and goodbye. Up the Tigers, get in!